YouTube channel. If you didn't know, I do have a YouTube channel. I post all of our videos. Just go to YouTube and type in OptionVue James. You'll be able to see all our recent videos. If you're not big in YouTube, you could always go to our OptionVue.com website, and then you'd be able to see our upcoming events, and then you can always click here and see the archives of our past recordings. Okay, there's different categories that we do, and we do 2 a week at least. We do this Essentials, which is specifically about OptionVue, every Thursday. So just for your reference there, you can find that on our first page. Somebody's saying they don't hear anything. If somebody cannot hear, if somebody can hear me, please just put something in the message real quick so that I know it's. Yep. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, so let's go and get started. I'm gonna share my desktop with you now, and 1 second here. And you're going to be able to see my OptionVue program, okay? I wasn't sharing a moment ago, so I'm going to just take you back here again. And if you go to OptionVue.com, here's our website. This is our schedule for our webinars. And then you can click on this link right here to view the recordings of the past events. Like I said, OptionVue James on YouTube will take you to the same videos, but I started the YouTube channel before they started doing this, so you'll find a lot more videos there. And today we're going to talk about survey, but before, I know we got a lot of new trials out there, so before I jumped in the survey, I just kind of wanted to do a quick overview about settings when you initially get your trial up and running. This is your quotes display. You can insert anything you want here just by highlighting one of these symbols here. Hitting the insert button on your keyboard will create blank fields. You could then put in a symbol, hit enter, and it'll populate for you. To get rid of them, just highlight it, and then you would hit the delete key on your keyboard. Okay. Sometimes people using emulators with Macs, the workaround is to go to edit up here, and then you can insert a row this way, and then you can also delete the row. Same things about columns at the top here. You can right-click up here, and you can change the columns and set this up, customize this however you want to. Okay, this is a brand new feature. Let me insert my insert button here. Brand new. It's going to be the next release here, but we have this new earnings announcement date, and basically, if I click here, and would you like to obtain earnings announcements? Announcement dates for this stock group, I would hit yes, and it's going to go out and it's going to find these dates and put these dates in for you here. There's nothing really I have in here in this top list that has earnings announcements. Why nothing came up. So also you can create groups. Okay, I have an indices group. I have things I'm trading with my Options Express here. I have Trade Monster, and then just anything you want to have set up here. And the way to create a group would be to have a blank field, type in the pound symbol, and then hit a new name, whatever name you want to have here, and then you have a new group. Okay, so this is a group. This is a group, and you'll see how this comes into play in a moment here. This little A here will alphabetize the list that you have in your group. And then this green button here means that you have streaming quotes coming in. If you double click or just left click once and make that yellow, that means you've suspended the quotes for this group. Okay. So I don't really want to create that separate group I did down here. So then I just go down here and I hit delete, and that group is gone. Okay. As far as getting started, what you want to do, and I'm going to pull up my little chat window here so I can see if anybody's saying anything. Okay, good. What you would do is when you first get your OptionVue trial downloaded, you would go up to View at the top. I try to recommend this to everybody when they first start off. And these kind of default settings here are important. The first one to look at is default models, and this is probably the most important. Is the center one right here is slippage. Okay, everything else I have set up here is defaulted. Slippage is usually set to hit bid ask. That means you're going to get the worst possible fills. Okay. If you're, buying, you're going to get, it's going to be modeling like you're getting filled at the ask, and vice versa. So moderate is more accurate. When you're putting on a trade, you're going to get filled somewhere in the middle, unless you're aggressive and you put something on and just sit there and hopefully you're going to get filled and wait for it. But moderate is more accurately going to portray what you're going to get filled at. Some people like pure analysis and they'll just put it on none, but I recommend moderate. This is something some people like to use combined put call skews in the model, and you don't need to do that unless you're trading something that is maybe $5 a share, and there's only maybe 2 strikes out of the money trading and 2 strikes in the money trading. Basically, there's not enough information for a good volatility model. So as a rule of thumb, do not use this. You don't need to. There's enough liquidity and things like that in the market these days where you don't have to use that combined put call skew. Okay. The next thing, we'll go to view at the top again, and this time you would go to default auto strike. Okay. I recommend changing these to large. There's no reason not to. They come set up as small in the money, I think, and moderate out of the money, and that's what this means. The calls and the puts in the money range, ITM, and out of the money range. I changed these to large just because when OptionVue opens up an options chain, it looks at where the at the money is right now, and then we'll, based on your settings here, set up a matrix or an options chain with a predetermined number of strikes in and out of the money. So changing those to large, and I'll show you how to add extra strikes if it's not large enough, but I recommend this setting here. Display all strikes, you definitely want to open up a matrix and see what's trading. And then if you are interested in leaps, quarterlies, and weeklies, you'll have to check these off here. Otherwise, if you first start off, everybody's trading weekly these days. I'm actually going to probably talk to Len and see if we can have a default set up so that weeklies are checked off. But you're going to want to come in here and in the lower right-hand corner, click if we include weeklies if available, and then when you open up an options chain, they'll be there for you. Now, with that being said, a lot of these Apple Group, a lot of these larger stocks now, I remember 2011 and just before spring there, right in springtime, they were just coming out, and you'd have a weekly, and then that one would expire, and you'd have another weekly. Well, now you have a guaranteed 5 weeklies out there. So as you put weeklies available in there, you're going to open up an options chain, and there's going to be a bunch of weeklies and maybe 1 monthly sitting there for you to view, which means having 5 contracts listed in the options chain might not be enough. Okay, so just so you know that you can adjust this up to a higher number if you want to. Okay, if you're not interested in quarterlies, I really wouldn't be interested in those, and I don't trade leaps either, so I'm going to uncheck those, and I'm okay here. Okay, the next important thing finally is the matrix format. This is how you set up your options chain. Okay, the big thing I recommend doing is first off, when you start off, and then you can customize this going forward, but you'll notice a lot of our videos are going to have this format here. Just change this to a 1x5. It'll give you, I think this is actually theta when you start off, but you can drop down these in these drop down boxes and change however you want to. Once you have it set this way, I would go up and set default number 1. Okay, I like to be able to see a lot of details about the option that I'm thinking about putting a trade on. So what I would do, I'm going to get my default 2 so I can show you, and I quickly can switch to see what the last bid asked, the volume, and what the open interest is. So if I'm going to look at putting on maybe some kind of spread that's out of the money, you might want to trade the one that's going to have a lot more, or at least a decent amount of open interest out there. Okay, and so once you switched it to this, you could then hit get set default number 2. Okay, and then you can see now that I have my default 1 and my default 2. I haven't gone as far to make a third one, but you could if you wanted to. Okay, now I'm going to go into an options chain just to show you what I'm talking about. We'll go into Groupon. Had a huge day today. And basically, I was looking at doing something today with this. As you can see, I have a trade field here. Okay, and I was thinking about putting on a straddle on this today. I didn't do anything with this. I didn't see an edge in doing it. So basically, what I did is I was comparing these 2 trades here, which is why you'll see these here. You have to have a trade column, which is important. This is the market price, which is an average price between the bid and the ask. Okay, if I did put this trade on You know, and basically what I'm looking at is both of these combined. I was actually highlighting this weekly here. By highlighting that, I'm isolating this trade, and now I can see just what this trade would have cost me down here. I could then unselect that and select this, and now I can see what this trade would have cost me and would have looked like. Okay, kind of getting away from survey here, but I think you guys can appreciate this. And then I'll go ahead and click Analyze because I have it in the trade field. I can analyze this position. Okay, uncheck this, check this, analyze this one. Okay, and then I can switch between them because it'll save up to 5 for you. Okay, and then I can even superimpose them over each other. And the color coding will be revealed up here which one you're looking at. Okay, this isn't something I'm going to do going forward. I don't want these trades here anymore. So what I can do then is I can click over here on this pencil eraser, and I can go clear trades, and they're gone. Okay, these colors you see here are because I'm depressing this S button. This S button is for standard deviations. Okay, inner color is the first, the second color is the second, and then out here in the white it would be the third standard deviation. Okay, that's just a little rundown. I wanted to kind of give everybody a quick settings update and quotes display, how to navigate around, just because those are important when you're first getting the trial. A nice way to potentially populate your matrix here is to, you know, even if you want to start from scratch from what's defaulted is, you could always go down here and you can create these tabs. Okay, I'm going to right-click on this. It automatically pulled up my currencies tab here, but I'm going to right-click here. I'm going to say I want to insert a tab. I'm going to name this highest IV/SV ratios. Okay, and you'll see why in a second. So I do that. Now I have this new highest IV/SV ratios, and you can manage these tabs as well. I can manage tab here, and I want to move this one to the bottom. I'm going to hit OK. That way it's at the end here. And now you can see I'm in this highest IV/SV ratio tab. There's absolutely nothing here yet because I created a brand new tab. So we made this so it's easier to switch. I have my main where I'm looking at my equities, and if I'm talking to somebody and they want me to look at a symbol, I can quickly just type it in here. I have something, you know, kind of broken down into ETF sectors. I have a futures tab where I can look at all my futures. You know, I have currencies. And basically, if you wanted to start off fresh with a new tab, a nice way to populate and pull in some symbols is to go to Survey. Okay, it'll ask you how many you want to pick. We're just going to pick, let's just say we'll pick 50 for now. And I want to find, you have this drop-down box here. What do you want to pick? I want to pick the highest IV/SV ratio right now. Okay, and I want to sort them based on the greatest volume, dollar volume of options traded. So I want to make sure there's a lot of liquidity and a lot of things going on out there. I could select all. I could select futures, currencies, commodities, bonds, indexes. I'm just going to look at stocks. Okay, that includes ETFs that are out there as well. And this DVO means dollar volume of options traded. It's already going to sort them by that, but this way I'm not going to look at anything that is trading less than 100,000. This is in terms of thousands, and this is looking at last night's close. Okay, so it's looking at the day before. It's going to say how many dollar volume of options traded, and that underline that for an entire day. Okay, minimum price. This is the minimum price of the underlying. Okay, I'm not going to trade options on anything that's trading at $3, so I'm going to put 25 in here. Minimum history means you want to make sure that this underlying has some history to it. Okay, and percentiles as well. When we're ranking things, we're going to be ranking them basically from our volatility charts and our price charts is where this data is going to be coming from. It's going to be coming from saying where over the course of the last 5 years is the IV compared to the SV, the implied volatility versus the statistical volatility, which is, you know, a little bit more of an advanced way of saying and calculation of historical volatility, the volatility underlying. Where has it been over the past 5 years, and what percentile is it in? So it's going to rank, you know, where these levels are at over a 5-year period. And I'll explain that more in a second here. So now that I've got this set up, I want to look at these stocks. I'm going to hit go, and it really quickly goes out and finds this information for me. Okay. Now, I asked Survey to go out and look at everything that's out there that's trading options right now. And yes, Nick is asking a question about the IV. It's looking at the 30-day, at the money IV, and the average of over the course of a day. So we're looking at the IV of that particular day, and I'll show you more about the charts in a second. You'll see that. So basically, Green Mountain is coming up here. It's fitting into the qualifications that I asked with a minimum price of 25, and you can see that it's ranking them based on the greatest dollar volume of options traded. Not necessarily it's picking them this way, but then sorting them based on this. So you'll see the volatility, the statistical volatility, what percentile it's in right now over the past in regards to the past 5 years, and in regards to the implied volatility. So it's taking a ratio of these two, and this is what it's producing for us. It's given us the symbol, the name of the stock, the dollar volume of options traded. This would be 10 million, almost 11. The current statistical volatility, current implied volatility, okay, and these percentiles. Okay. Now you can quickly left click. I'm highlighting this now. Okay, left clicked on Green Mountain, and now I'm going to go ahead and click on a price chart. Okay. I'm not worried about the lower chart right now. So this is showing me a price chart here, and now I'm going to click on this little button over here, which is going to pull up my volatility chart. It's overlaid here. Okay. Now by left clicking the chart, I'm going to pull up what's we call a wand here, and now I can drag this, and it's giving me details at the bottom for each particular day about the high-low volume and the date and the IV/SV percentiles. And now we'll drag this all the way over to the right here to show today. Okay, and you can see this is where we're getting the percentiles. Now my chart, these aren't going to match exactly with what I have on my survey because I only asked it to look back 5 years, whereas my chart is going to go back to 2003 here. Okay, you can see now this is the statistical volatility of the underlying. There's no blue line here showing the implied volatility because options did not start trading on this until, looks like, August of 2007. Okay. So as you can see, this is where all the data is coming from for the survey that I'm running. Now, based on the chart history that I have, which is basically really going to be since that August of 2007 when the options started trading, it's giving me these percentiles for the IV and SV. Now, it's sometimes nicer when you're running a survey. You might want to even lessen this percentile period because, markets and climates change, and, you might want to just say, hey, I just want to look at the past 2 years instead of the past 5 years because I think, the past 2 years is going to give me a better reflection of where this really is relative to how it's been trading. So I can hit go again, and we're going to see some things change here as far as, the percentile that it's using over the history of the charts that I have here. Okay, so as I said again, I'm going to go back to the price chart here for Green Mountain. Now, a nice thing is because of that survey list that I created here, you can see Cisco is next. I'll go back to my price chart. Now I can browse these charts if I'm looking for something in particular. Okay, you can see that the IV is over the SV here. Okay, so the options are overvalued here. I can hit next. That's going to pull up the Cisco chart for me. So it's kind of a nice way to be able to scroll through maybe some charts of the list that you produced using survey. Okay. Carl's asking me a question. Carl, we'll address that in a little bit. It's probably might be a setting that you have wrong when running the survey. Someone's trying to run a survey and they're not getting the same results. So what we can do now, let's say I want to look at the top 10 and I want to add them to my list. So what you could do is you can insert them, one by one by hitting the insert button, or you can actually hold down the shift button and go down to Ralph Lauren here and then click the last one and it'll highlight it for you, and then I can go to Insert. Okay, so I did that, and now I can go ahead and close this, and you'll see here's my new list. Okay, so now you can go ahead and then you can go even further. You can go right and do an options chain for one of these. Okay, so it's a nice way to kind of find some candidates for yourself. Of course, when you're running this type of a survey, you're going to want to watch out when you're in earnings seasons, because that's generally why you're going to have a really high IB/SV ratio, because earnings are coming out. Okay. Some of the other things you can do as far as creating a list is maybe you just want to find the most liquid futures that are trading out there right now. And you can do this. Greatest dollar volume options traded, and sort them the same way. Okay. And let's say, I want to do a $10 price here. And then I'll hit go on this one. It's going to look at just for futures for me. Okay, and it's ranking them by dollar volume of options traded. Okay, then you could create a futures tab and highlight the top 25 if you want to, and insert them. Okay, same thing again. You could always go quickly to a price chart and be able to scroll through these. Okay, now if you created a specific group, I wanted to talk about these now. Okay, let me close this here. And let me go back to maximize this and go back to my my main section here. And this is just some random, it's titled random. So now I have this group here, okay? What you want to do if you want to run a survey on a particular group, just want to make sure you're highlighted on something in this group. Doesn't matter which one, as long as you're highlighted in this group, okay? And now I'm going to click on Survey. Okay, now if I click on selected assets and I click the number 1, it's going to pull up whatever I was highlighted in. See, I'm highlighted on that. I'm going to highlight Tesla. I'll go to survey, and I'm going to click on this number 1 button. That pulls up whatever I'm highlighted on. If I click on the G button, that's going to pull up everything in that group that Tesla is in. If I clicked on this all, it's going to pull in everything that is on that particular tab in my quotes display. Okay, so now I'm going to just want to look at this group that I've created. Maybe it's a watch list that you have or something like that, and you want to find which one has the highest, is currently in the highest IB percentile of your group over the past 2 years, and is trading at $15 or higher. Okay, and it's going to sort through your list real quick and find that for you. Okay, so surveys are a really nice tool to find some certain situations, a high SV IB ratio, if you wanted to look at that. What's in the highest SV percentile? What is moving a lot right now? Something like this might be good for a straddle. If these things are really moving, where the SV ratios here, Tesla, of course, is a big mover just because of the past couple of months here. You could look through here and find something you might want to put a straddle on it, because it's basically it's moving. If you want to look at the lowest IB ratio or SV ratio, this is something you might want to do something non-directional on. Let's see, it's always, these are in the 2, 3, 5, 6 percentiles over the past 2 years. Okay, and just to look at that, you could go ahead and click on a price chart, and we'll be able to see how everything is going to be kind of coming into a smaller trading range here. Okay, because volatility chart for this is out of whack. And sometimes you'll get charts that are kind of messed up a little bit. What I like to do, and because it's pulling in a lot of data, is you can always go here. You can say, I want to refresh the data back to. I know. I want to make sure that Monster's been around that long. Hit OK, and it'll refresh some stuff for you. Another thing you can do, and let me click the next one here. Another thing you can do is you can go down to these 2 buttons down here, and it'll give you, if I click on this V, You can see up here it's going to give me averages. Okay, it's going to show me what has the SV been on average over the past 3, 6, 10 weeks or years. Okay, and you can see it's in a really a lower percentile than it has been over the history of its of this chart here. Okay, this M is a new feature. It's going to actually chart the volatility of the actual option contracts. This is a fairly new feature here. Okay, and that's with this M and this V. Okay. So again, Survey is one of our scanning tools here. Now, another thing that you could do to take Survey to the next level is you can, like I said, create a group. Okay. Let's say I want to look at the highest IV-SV ratio. Let's say I want to sort them based on the greatest dollar value options traded. I want to make sure it's trading at $30 or higher, and I'm only concerned about the top 20 for now. And I want to look at just my stocks. I'm going to hit go. Okay. And now, I could always, another way to get these symbols inserted is I could left click here. I can right click then. Okay, and it's going to list all the groups. Maybe you want a couple to add things to a particular group on your quotes display. You could do it that way. Or, maybe you want this one and just these 4 or 5 here, and then you can move them by right-clicking to a specific group in your quotes display. Okay. You can also, right from here, go ahead and let's look at gap really quick. And I'm double-clicked on it, it automatically pulls up an option chain for me. Okay, looks like we might have had some earnings come out here, and I don't know for sure if there was earnings that came out on this. Well, a nice thing I can do here is, let's say I want to go back here. I do want to insert gap. Okay, so now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to look at gap, which is right here. And I can go over here and I can click on news. This is nice because what happens then is you can link this to your favorite news site or whatever, and it'll pull up, do a search automatically for that symbol. So, but I have Yahoo Finance up here, so I can see that looks like earnings are coming up here. So that's why the volatility is ramping up on this one. Okay. Just wanted to show you that news feature, but I could also do this as well. I could have gone to my earnings play here. Would you like to obtain earnings for the announcement? Yes, I would. I want to find out what the earnings are for this group, and let's see what it comes up for. Yep, there it is for Gap. It shows us automatically, when the announcements are coming up or when the last one was. Okay. So that's pretty much what Survey is. A very useful tool to assist you in populating different tabs or groups within your quotes display. A good way if you're looking for a particular strategy, highest IV-SV ratio if you're looking for something that's overvalued, or usually that will pull up a lot of the things where earnings are going on. If you're looking for something more neutral and that's trading in a smaller range, you're going to look for the lower lower SV rate percentile, basically. So one of the other things I wanted to kind of show you here is I got someone asking about Trade Finder. We'll go ahead and run a Trade Finder real quick. And so let's say you had a group, and let me go ahead and clear these clear a few of these out. The reason I'm doing this is I just want to look at a smaller amount, because Trade Finder takes up a lot of juice or power. So when it has to go through all of these option chains to find it, it's going to take a while here. So this is what I would do. I would create a small group, a few candidates. It could be longer. It would take longer. But what then I would do is I would click on Trade Finder. Okay. Let me first go back here and let you know that I'm in this group. Now, being in this group, I'm going to actually create a group here. So I'm going to insert, I'm going to hit the pound sign and say Group 1. Okay, I have Group 1 here. I'm in Group 1. I'm going to first go to, and this is what is important to do when you're doing a Trade Finder on something you haven't opened up an options chain on yet. So basically what you need to do is you got to make sure OptionVue has the data in order to run a Trade Finder, and to do that easily, instead of going through, open up an options chain for each of them individually, you can go to NetView, you can update asset files. I'm going to click on my Group 1. There's my Group 1, this button here, and I hit go. And it's going to work. So now what it's doing is it's going out, opening these option chains for my specific matrix formats with my auto strikes and everything, and now it did it. So it's got all the data I need. And then I click on Trade Finder, and I click on the G button, that same group, and now I know that I've got all the data I need because I just used the same group button there. Okay. So we've got some overvalued options right now. When you have a group here, this section does not apply. You could actually go through and set the targets for each of these if you wanted to, but I want to just say set all targets as a bell curve with the center price where it's at right now, the IV where it's at right now, no change. I just want to look at the IV of each of these where it's at, and let's just say I want to look at doing a trade for something for October 15th is the data I'm looking for. I hit OK. Now you can see it's going to go. It's gone through all of these and grabbed the information I said, where the volatility is at and where the center price is right now for each of these. Okay. So I do my strategies, and these are our bullish strategies. These are our bearish strategies. I'm going to deselect all. I just want to look at strangles and condors and straddles. Okay. Look at my goals. How much do I want to use to do this trade? Let's say I want to use 5,000 on this trade. Okay, I'm doing 1-to-1 put call ratios for these. I'm not looking at delta neutral right here. My filters. Okay, this is important. Now, if you want to run Trade Finder and look for weeklies trades and only use weeklies, it's important to put. You want to make sure there's a certain minimum days to buy and sell in here. So if your weekly is expiring, next Friday, you'd want to make sure you put in there, expiring within, 10 days, 12 days, whatever it is. That way, it's only going to look at the weeklies to do this. But one of the, I'm going to clear everything out here so we get some results right away. But one of the big thing is that, OptionVue, sometimes there'll be some prices out there on options, but there's no volume or no open interest. I kind of want to weed those out. So you might put at least a 1 in here. You could put some higher numbers in there. But I want to look at the best case return for what I've created here. Let me go back to my targets here. And I'm doing a bell curve. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go. And again, this is the ranking basis here. It's going to rank these based on best case return. This is best case return versus worst case return. This is expected return versus worst case return. Okay. And that search is complete. So it looks like it's found everything for me. It's found some strangles. And you can see best case return, and we'll see what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to click Analyze. Okay, and now this can be interesting because we got a lot of times find out, and I'm zooming out here right now is what I'm doing. And it's showing me the bell curve, okay? So I'm going to click on a line here. I'm looking at, in September here, it's giving my break-even points. Okay, and right here, it looks like it's showing where our best case return would be. So basically what it's looking at a bell curve and it's saying, hey, what's the best case return of this entire trade? Well, it looks like out here, where my target is, I have a bell curve on here, the standard deviations. You can see one standard deviation and the second standard deviation, and we're looking at expiration actually, which is the date I put in. October 15th is a solid line. It's not expiration, so to speak. It's solid line. In this case, is representing my projection date. And right here, it's given us. This is why it's given us such a high amount. So, you know, if everything fell into place and it was right here on this day, that's what would happen. But I only chose, you know, strangles or straddles and whatnot. So, you know, perhaps going long, just going long an option would have been better in this case. But we didn't search for that. So that's why you got to be careful with the results. They're going to give you a lot of things to consider, but you're going to want to look at it. Let's look at something. Let's look at this one here. These are all strangles. Let's see if I can find a different one. They're not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my strategies. I'm going to take off my strangles. I'm going to hit go again. It'll go pretty quick. Okay, and it found these for me right here. As you can see, it's going through the assets here. And let's look at the condor it gave me for RL. I'll go ahead and analyze this one. And you can see that we're giving it a lot of time to work here. And so that's why this bell curve is so large. Okay, shaded region here, as you can see, is representing this first standard deviation. Okay, and it's giving me the best case return. Of course, its ranking is going to be, you know, right up here. Okay, now I haven't looked at these matrices. I mean, I'm asking it to go out to October 15th. So what I'm going to do is I want to look at, you know, some of these things that didn't pop up here and see what my matrix looks like for this one. Okay, so basically, I don't have an October 15th contract here. I don't have, all it could look at was this September 44. It didn't have the October in here. It just has the December contract. So these factors are going to play into your trade finder depending on what is defined and what's trading in your matrix. So based on the date, you know, this one got kind of pushed to the side, this SDS, because there were no contracts in the time frame when compared to the other underlyings that did have contracts like that. Trade Finder takes a lot of practice, a lot of getting used to. It's very specific to what you're asking it. Okay. So survey might be something you want to look for as far as candidates, underlying candidates. A survey is going to look for, you know, the implied volatility and the statistical volatility of the underlying. It's going to look at, you know, how much of it is trading, how many dollar volume of options are trading. You can screen them based on minimum price. We're actually working to put a maximum price in there as well. So that maybe you don't want to look at something that's trading at $200 a share. You want to look at something that's between 30 and 80. We're working on getting that maximum price as well in there. That was a suggestion recently that, you know, is a good idea. Okay, so once you found your candidates here, you could then create a group, and then you could then put that group in Trade Finder and run a scan that way if you like. I kind of went kind of quick here. If there's anybody out there that maybe wants to throw a comment out there, I'd be happy to look at anything you guys want to. Another thing, I'll just go ahead and go into a little bit of this. Let me close this and go into, I'm going to get rid of this tab now because I don't want it. Delete the tab. Yes, gone. And go back to my main here. And you can have an unlimited number of accounts in OptionVue. When you first start out with OptionVue, it says account 1 or sample account or something like that. And you can have, you can see all the accounts I have here. It's just things that I go in here and I'm demoing something, I'm back testing something, I'm testing out a strategy that I saw somewhere. You know, someone will want me to look at the accounts they have. You can have an unlimited number of accounts in here, and I stress to take advantage of that. And this is a good way to not get, you know, back tests and current trades mixed up. So what you would do is you click on the info button here. Okay, you click on New Account, name this account here. You don't have to worry about any of this right now. You could hit OK. When do you want this account to start? So say I want to do a back test from February 2011, and I want to start this account with 15,000, and I'm going to use this strategy and see how well I do. Now you can also come down here and say, okay, these are the commissions that you pay. Okay, if you don't want commissions, you could always just delete that out as well, and now you can always, add your commissions back in as you wanted to. Do you want your open positions valuation to include slippage and commissions? You can set this up here as well. Okay, I said OK, and now, as you can see, I'm in account, name of account. And then I could go in and, you could do a back test. If you wanted to put a trade on, someone's asking a question here. So let's say that this was I named this account, this is my toss account. Okay, you save an account with toss, and you put a trade on in the rut today. Okay, or let's do even better. Let's say you put a trade on 2 weeks ago that you want to see where it's at in OptionVue. Well, you can go into Back Trader. Okay, Back Trader now is like a time machine. It's going to take you back to whatever date you want. So let's just say I wanted to go back to July 25th, and I'm going to hit Start. Okay, this is kind of an easy way the better way to do it, just so that everything gets entered properly. Okay, so now I'm back on Thursday, July 25th, and let's just say that looks like I had something I was analyzing down here. Let's see what that looks like. Let's say for some reason I wanted to put this trade on. I would then convert the trade. So basically what you would do is you'd put in the trade field only first. Never put anything in the existing column field. You want to put it in the trade field first. Okay, like I had a -1 here, and I had a +1 here. Then I hit this Convert Trade button, and it moved it from the trade column to the existing position column. And it went into my T-log, which is my transaction log. So now, it doesn't really matter the time or the date, but you could come in here and say, you know what, at toss I got 10.50 on this one, and I got this one for 13.25, whatever, and I had to pay a commission of $6 on both of them. And then you're okay, and you've just created your cost basis, your commission schedule. You could analyze it and track it going forward. Okay, so that's how you would do it. If you wanted to close a trade, let's move a couple days here. D button moves you by day. S moves you half an hour in either direction. Let's go a week out here. See where this trade is at now. It made some money. Now I'm going to put the opposite trade in. I'm going to buy this one back. Sell that one back. And now I'm going to hit Convert Trade. It's gone. Go to my T-log. You can see the closing transaction there, and it cost me $6 on the way out as well. Okay. So now, this is all your account buttons up here. Now I can click on Status. I don't have anything going on in Status, but what Status will do is show you how much buying power you have, all the positions you have on your portfolio, theta and delta. Okay, you could even use Hedge Finder. But I click on Reports here, and it's going to create reports. Okay, this is the first trade in my back test or my real account, and it's going to create a nice, unrealized, combined, realized chart list of your trades here, and it'll show you a graph. Once there's a lot of trades there, it'll create how many trades have you done, number of winners, what number of losers, ratios, all that kind of a thing here as well. And then you can say, hey, maybe I just want to look at the trades I've done over this past 60 days. You can put the specific dates in there and see your gains and losses. Okay. So that's Back Trader. I'm going to close out of Back Trader now, and it's going to bring me up to today's closing numbers. Okay, I kind of covered a lot there, a lot more. Survey is a great tool, but it's, I showed you how to insert symbols into new tabs and creating groups, and maybe even using that group and taking it over to Trade Finder. If anybody doesn't have any questions, I'll kind of wrap it up there. Again, you can check out OptionVue James on the YouTube channel, or go to our website, OptionVue.com, and you can see our schedule for webinars. And at the bottom of that schedule, you'll see a link to view our archived webcasts as well. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop it there, and you can always email me at james.hogan@optionvue.com or call us at 800-733-6610.